Hi, I'm Steve Chilcote. I'm a consulting forester in Pennsylvania, and I do forestry and wildlife habitat improvements on people's land, and so I'm out in the field all the time. And today I want to talk to you about ticks and how to prevent them, how to avoid getting bit, and then what to do about it once you are bit. And when I say bite, they don't actually bite you, they bore into your skin and they feed on blood, so they're not really biting, they're actually drilling into you, getting your blood. So anybody that works with me will tell you that I get ticks like crazy. They love me. The ticks like the way I taste or something. I don't know what it is, but they just like my whatever I'm putting out, CO2, extra CO2 or something. The way ticks bite is that they climb up from the forest floor where they stay moist and cool, and they climb up when it's warm, look for stuff that's walking around. They detect carbon dioxide coming off of an animal, and then when they smell that, they put their legs out like this, and when you touch them, they grab a hold of you and they're on. And then what they do is they crawl upwards, and as soon as they find a good spot, they drill in and start feeding. Here's an electron micrograph of a tick's mouth. When a tick attaches to you, what he does is he takes this pipostone and he drills that into your skin. He starts pushing that in and uses these scrapers, and these are sharp barbs that can they drill in there. He keeps pushing it in, and then he sends saliva down this little trough here, and that probably eats through the skin, I guess, and gets the blood flowing. And you can see that with these barbs on here like this, they're like shark teeth. When people say that you can burn them with a cigarette or put Vaseline on them or peppermint oil and they're going to let go, how's he going to let go? There's no way. He's not coming out. Once he's in there, he's in, and you have to pull him out. So anyway, that's pretty gross, and you don't want that drilling into your skin. It takes them 8 hours or so till they actually start to feed, which is important to know. I'll get to that in a minute. But I test positive for Lyme disease and Rocky Mountain spotted fever. And my poor little doggy here, come here. Come here, Ruby. Oh, old Ruby, she's got Lyme disease. Just had the nice thing about dogs is you can treat them. They respond really well. Go lay down. They respond really well to drugs, and you can give them a vaccine as well. But poor Ruby here. One day I was out cutting TSI, and I went to leave and looked around for her, and she was sitting behind a log. She couldn't make it up over the log. So she was running around one minute, and the next minute couldn't walk. I had to carry her. Come on, go lay down. Go on. And that's too bad, because that's my fault. I didn't have enough repellent on her, and I didn't have a collar because there was snow on the ground. You're just not thinking about ticks. So she got bit, got Lyme disease, and now she has arthritis. So if I take her hunting one day, she can't walk for about 2 days after. So that's too bad. And then it's also too bad about me, because I've been sick for 2 years. The doctors couldn't diagnose it correctly, and one of the big problems with tick-borne ailments is that they're not correctly diagnosed. So they always tested me negative, and what's weird about that is that when I finally became my own advocate and I got my own test, there's a lot of positive stuff on here. And I tested positive in these tests for a virus that's it's kind of a, you could call it a walking pneumonia, which I had last winter. Damn near coughed myself to death, and I test positive for Lyme disease and for Rocky Mountain spotted fever. But according to the CDC, I'm negative. But if you look at this thing here, you see all these positives in here. It says here that the 5 or more of the following bands have to be present for the CDC to call it a positive. And then reading up on what these bands detect in the Western blot, I've got 2 indeterminates there for, so it's a weak positive, but these 2, the 34 and 39, are they're Lyme disease. So what happened was the Western blot showed Lyme disease proteins. I think they measured proteins, and don't quote me on this because I'm not a scientist, so I don't know. Second time around, it was negative, so they call that an indeterminate. So they're not allowed to call it a positive, but if it's there, it's there. I mean, I don't understand what they're getting at here with this. I have several indicators that are double positive. So one of those is the flagellin protein. So it detects a flagella of a bacteria, the kind that can swim around. And so the test, I don't know if you can see that, negative. So if it's negative, then why do I either have Lyme disease or syphilis, and I've been married for a long time and I do not have syphilis, okay? So the doctors misdiagnose or fail to diagnose, they fail to treat properly. Any doctor will tell you that, all I got to do is give you doxycycline for a week and you're fine. Well, I can tell you I'm not fine, because I've been sick for 2 years and I drag myself around. I still work, but it's very difficult to put in a day's work anymore. I know a lot of people who, not a lot of people, I know a few people and then heard of other people who had to go on disability, quit work, and retire early because of tick-borne ailments. And then it gets worse. I mean, there was a little girl that went out to play in the yard, got bit by a tick in Pennsylvania, 3 years old. She was misdiagnosed. She had Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and a couple days later she passed away. And so that's not anything to fool around with. It's a horrible thing. I hate to see anybody. It's just such a stupid thing to die of, getting bit by a stupid arachnid. So what you want to do is prevent tick bites. So one of the things you can do, and I just bought these and I just tried them on, tick-proof clothing. I had a client tell me that they work. They're permanently or semi-permanently bonded permethrin in the cloth. The cloth is real light. It's very lightweight, so you hardly even know it's on. So all you have to do when you get out of the truck is just put these on over your clothes if you want to, or if it's real hot, just wear them by themselves. And he swears by them. I haven't tried them, but he says that ticks do not attach to him at all, and they don't climb up his pants. They fall off. And then you always want to have a can of permethrin with you. And I'm going to put links to all this stuff down below. So if you want to pick some up, you can link on there and catch a good price. And this little set here saved me yesterday. I got off the truck just to hook up a lime spreader and get it running. Got 2 ticks on my belly. So first we tried. I got my client to. I couldn't reach it. So this is a stainless steel set, and it's a nice instrument actually. And it's got a little hammer on it, a little hammerhead, claw kind of thing. So you can reach underneath the tick and then pry it. You get a hold of it and then pry it out. Now the tick that got me was a very small one. It was a larval stage. So it was very tiny, and so it didn't really get a hold of it very well. But that's okay because it comes with a real sharp stainless steel tweezer, and so I got my client to get a hold of that thing and pull it off me. Now it's critical to get the tick off of you right away. Don't make a doctor's appointment. Don't go to the ER. Tweezers, get them off you, because they don't transfer the bacteria right away. They transfer bacteria when they start to feed. So they don't really feed until at least 8 hours after they attach, because they got to get everything set up, and they put some saliva down a little trough in their mouth parts that eats away at your skin and gets the blood flowing. So also very important is that when you do use tweezers, you get as close to the head and even get some skin if you want to, or if you can, and pull that out of there. You're probably going to break off some mouth parts, but you're going to get most of the tick. You don't want to squeeze the tick again. Like what I used to do for years, I probably had 100 of them on me. So if driving down the highway after working and I see one there and I'm like, oh shit, just grab it and throw it out the window, right? Bad idea, because when you squeeze it to grab a hold of it, you're squeezing the guts right into your body. So that's not a good thing to do. What else do I have here? This, I think, is a good thing. And I meant to get the one. There's one that is plastic, and you see them for sale all the time. Mine just broke apart. It looks like it was made on a 3D printer, and it's just a piece of junk. Now these here, this is made by an outfit called Tick Key. It's patented. This side up, it says. Okay. So what you do is you get the tick, come from behind, and you slide it in there, and as soon as you get that really skinny part of that thing up against the mouth parts, then you pry up and you pull that thing out. Works pretty good. And the nice thing about these is that they go on your keychain. You can put them on the dog's collar, so that if you see a tick, no problem. Just take the tick key off the collar, or take the whole collar off, pull the tick out, and you always have it handy. Sometimes these other things, like this little kit here, I keep this in my glove compartment. But if you're backpacking, it doesn't weigh hardly anything, so you can stick it in a day pack, or if you're out backpacking, you can find a place for it. Always spray your clothes for method. Now, what I got going here is doxycycline twice a day. And I got some azithromycin twice a day. What the heck did I do with it? And then just for the hell of it, I got some aloe juice This is crushed aloe, peach flavor. Still tastes like shit, but. And B, propolis. Supposed to be good for fighting bacterial infections. Who knows? I'll try anything to get feeling better. The other thing I do is I go to a specialist, really down, and he shoots me with 6 shots every 2 weeks, and it's not pleasant. It hurts a lot, and it's a lot of medicine, and it makes you feel terrible. And what makes you feel even worse is the $1,000 that it costs every 2 weeks. So what I'm getting at is, you don't want it. Don't get tick bites. And there's no excuse to get Lyme disease today. We know about it. We know how to get rid of ticks. There's all these tools. We know how to prevent. The other thing you can do, on a broader spectrum, is go on the internet, find your, if you're in Pennsylvania, we have a prescribed fire council here. A lot of your other states, like when you get down in the south, prescribed fire is very common, but here in Pennsylvania it's not. And we need to get it more common, because that's the best way. It's not only great for wildlife habitat, it's the best way to get ticks out of an area. Takes away their habitat. They have to stay moist. If they dry out, if they're out in the sun too long, or if they don't have a place to get shelter and get moisture, they dry up and die. So you take away their hiding places, and that's a good thing to do. The other thing is that mice are a vector for these diseases. They don't bother mice. Ticks get on mice, and the mice don't care. But what you can do is take cotton balls, and you get some commercial strength permethrin. I would use that. Cut it about 10% with water or something like that, or 10% permethrin. Get a lot of it, soak it on cotton balls, and then take about a foot long piece, 10 inches maybe, of PVC. Dry them in the sun, okay, and then put them in there. And mice will take that cotton and take it back and make nest out of it. So when they get ticks on them, it'll kill them. So that's going to help a lot if you're just doing your yard or something like that. You can't do a whole forest, of course, but around your yard you can do that. The other thing you can do, I know my brother had a terrible problem with his dog just being covered in ticks every time he let the dog out. So I got some commercial permethrin, and I mixed up a batch, put it in my mist blower that I use to do herbicide work in forestry settings. And I just went around his place. He has an acre, and I sprayed his whole place. I sprayed all the bushes and the landscaping. And heck, that was 5 years ago. He hasn't seen a tick anywhere around his place. So that worked really well. And if you want that, get in touch with me. And anyway, if you like any of the content that I put out, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. There's down in here somewhere, there's a round picture of a trillium. That's the subscribe button. Hit that and comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on tick prevention and what your experience might have been, to share with others. I'm trying to get the word out, so please comment, and if you have any questions, ask me and I'll try to find the answer for you. Okay, so enjoy the outdoors, and be careful out there.